Oh yeah, we're hitting the hard stuff today. Good old H2O. Yeah, that doesn't hit the way I need it to. Hey makeup friends, today I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favorite highlighters, and I've gone one extra step and actually ranked them. But that's not the most exciting part of this video. The most exciting part is that it's being done in collaboration with Cate the Great Beauty. I adore Cate, and if you're not familiar with her, you need to click on this little thing over here and go and check her channel out, because I suspect rather strongly that you're going to adore her too. She's beautiful, she's talented, she's funny, she does a lot of live streams on her channel, and the audience there is always so supportive and so welcoming. It's just a great time hanging out on her channel. So Cate, thank you so much for doing this collab with me. I'm super excited to see what your picks are as well. But let's dive straight into this. Like I said, I have gone ahead and ranked the 5, so I'm going to start at the bottom, and work my way to number 1. Now, starting at the bottom is still an accomplishment for these highlighters because I have roughly a gajillion. So choosing the top 5 means that even if it's coming in at the bottom, it's still an amazing highlighter. So in that spot is this one from Colourpop. This is Flexitarian. Now this is one of the more icier highlighters that I own, and yet it's still beautiful on the cheeks. It is high intensity. So if you really like a highlighter that like beams to the heavens, this is the one for you. Now it did take me a little while to learn how best to apply this product. It does have almost like a cream-like consistency. So I was finding that a fluffier brush like I typically use, like this one here from Wet n Wild, it just wasn't picking up the product. But enter the Rephr brush number 4, and this thing is a game changer. So you pick it up, but even if you tap off, like there's no excess, like this doesn't produce any kick up or anything of that sort, but you put that in and it just has the right amount of density, the right amount of width that you can just really blend it nicely into the skin, and it doesn't just sit on top. That was the problem that I was finding, like I would gouge at it with this kind of brush, and then it was just a hot mess. So don't bother trying to frustrate yourself with something like this. Go for a more densely packed brush, even if it's not one that you would typically use for highlighting. I think it's going to work better because, at least for me, the Rephr and this one, they are a match made in heaven. Coming in at number 4 is a highlighter that I haven't had in my collection for very long, but it became an instant favorite the very first time I used it. And it's this one here from Fenty. This is the Diamond Balm in Fenty Glow, and this was part of the trio that they released for the holidays. It also included the full-size gloss balm and also a full-sized cream blush, also in the shade Fenty Glow. This is a formula that I haven't tried before, and frankly I've been a little bit nervous to do so because it does look very glittery when you first look at it. However, once you apply it, you really notice that those bits of glitter that are in there are probably smaller than what I would typically call micro glitter. It really just is aggressive shimmer. That's how I'm going to phrase it. Because these bits of glitter that are in here are not chunky at all. You can't feel them. They don't transfer around where you end up with like one fleck of glitter like up in the middle of your forehead and like one's camping out at your nose. They stay put, and this has just a little bit of a base undertone to it to really help bring life to your cheeks, but it's not overpowering in any way. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, they only make it in the mini and it's only available in that trio, but I can say that that trio is excellent value, especially right now. It is on sale, at least on the Canadian Sephora website. It's down from $55 to $38. Comes with 2 full-size products, and then of course this mini highlighter here, but I can speak for all 3 of them. They are beautiful products. So if you're looking for a highlighter that gives you sort of that ethereal glow to your skin, I would highly recommend checking out that trio. Coming in at 3rd place is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow highlighter. This one just applies so nicely. It is like silk in the pan. It is a stunning highlighter. I will caution though, it is the deepest of the 5 that I'm talking about today, so if you are very fair-skinned, This one might show up a little bit too coppery for your liking. It works on my skin tone, but I do have to sort of blend it out. Otherwise, you can see sort of the base to it there. It can be a little bit too strong if I don't go in with a lighter hand. In summer, when I have like a full tan going on, this is going to be perfect. But at this time of year, when I'm, reverting to my pale ass self, this one is a little bit strong for me. However, having said that, if I do go in with a lighter hand, and if I do go in with a brush more like this, where you're not going to get a super dense application out of it, she's beautiful. This gives you that lit from within kind of look, and there's no glitter to it whatsoever. Like I said, it feels like actual silk in the pan, like it's almost velvety, the texture of it. It's just so beautiful. Whereas the Fenty has a little bit of that, what did I call it, aggressive shimmer going on, this has none of that, and yet it still just catches the light so nicely and just bounces it right back. And yet I don't find that it really emphasizes the texture going on my face. I do have a couple little bumps that are over here, and regardless of what highlighter I use, by virtue of the fact that it is a highlighter and it is reflecting light, it does show those little bumps. But this one doesn't create new bumps the way some highlighters can, where they're like, hey, here's a pore, let's accentuate the hell out of it. This one doesn't do that at all, and it's just a stunning highlighter. In a recent video, I went back to my 2019 favorites and gave you guys an update as to whether or not I'm still in love with them or if they have been replaced. And one of the highlighters that I was in love with at the end of 2019, I predicted was going to come in at number 1 this year. However, I was wrong. When I really sat down and swatched everything out and really considered all of these highlighters, this one came in number 2. And it's this guy here from Benefit. This is the Cookie Highlighter. It has terrible packaging, absolutely horrid packaging. I hate the box packaging. But this highlighter, I can get past the horrific packaging for the highlighter that dwells inside. It is stunning. This is such a nice highlighter. It is lighter in shade than the Natasha Denona, but very similar in terms of the way it feels and the way it looks on the skin. So if you are very fair, you might want to give Natasha a pass and check out this guy here from Benefit. Also comes with a slightly smaller price tag, but it's just so reflective. Again, not glittery at all. It's almost like a pink kind of champagne without pulling too strongly pink. For my own personal preferences, I tend not to gravitate towards pink highlighters. I have a yellow undertone and pink highlighters tend to just look a little odd on my skin. Somehow I can wear pink blush, but pink highlighters just look a little off on me. However, with this one, the pink is very subtle. And I think it just helps to add a little bit of warmth to it and makes it a less harsh highlighter than what some of the more champagne or silvery kind of highlighters can look. As beautiful as those can be, sometimes they just provide too much contrast from your actual skin and it just becomes, here's the highlighter show. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but time and a place. When I'm going to the office, I want my makeup to look a little bit more cohesive and less like, here's the highlighter, if that makes sense. And this one accomplishes that. It just blends so nicely into the skin and yet it lasts all day long. This is one of those highlighters that I can apply it at 8 o'clock in the morning and at 8 o'clock at night, it's still going to be visible on my skin. Yes, it's going to show some wear throughout the day, especially considering I wear glasses at work, so it does kind of sit right in that area. But the point is, there is really good longevity to this highlighter. A lot of powder highlighters, you can put them on and they look fantastic in the morning, and by midday you're like, where the hell did it go? This one is in it for the long haul, and I really can't recommend it enough. So given that Cookie made my favorites list in 2019 and is now ranked number 2 in 2020, and despite the fact that it comes in horrid packaging, I'm still recommending it to you. I guess the question is, what could top that? And what can top that is this one here from Jouer. Now granted, this is an entire face palette, obviously, but it's the highlighter in here that steals the show for me. And fun fact, this highlighter is available on its own in a single. It's in the shade Citrine, and I cannot describe how beautiful it is. So rather than me try to describe the highlighter, I'm going to describe the moment that it became my favorite. So go back a few months. It might have been July or August. It doesn't matter. It was sometime in the summer and I was Marco Poloing Britt Clark. I remember this specifically because as I was holding the phone in my car, I had just got out of a movie. The sun was still up, but starting to do that like golden hour beautiful thing that it does. And I'm sitting there talking to her on Marco Polo and I was completely distracted by my own cheekbones. I looked like a literal goddess. I looked like the heavens themselves were shining down on my cheekbones and angels were singing. Now let me tell you, if you're not familiar with what Marco Polo is, there is a reason that most people refer to it as a potato camera because it has about 0.03 megapixel camera quality. Everybody looks like a damn potato on this thing. And if I looked like a glowing goddess on Marco Polo, imagine what I looked like in real life. This highlighter is fucking bananas. I love it so much. It's what I'm wearing today, and one of the things that I really love about it, not only is it just super reflective, not only does it blend into the skin beautifully, it doesn't emphasize texture, all of the things that I've mentioned about the others, but there's something about the tone of this one that just melds right into my skin and you cannot tell that I'm wearing a highlighter. It just looks like I'm glowing from within. I freaking adore this highlighter. When you swatch it, it doesn't look all that impressive, to be honest. It almost looks, dare I say, dull by comparison to, say, Flexitarian, and yet it just gives you that goddess glow. Like I don't know how to describe the science behind it, but whoever created this highlighter, like, hats off to you. Cheers to you in honor of Cate. It is so beautiful. I am at a loss for words. I truly am. But first of all, this face palette is amazing. All of the products in here are gorgeous. I tend to stay away from face palettes because there's usually at least one or two shades that I'm like, nah, I can't use you. Nope, all of these work so nicely together. But this guy right here, I have already put a good dent in it, and I've only had this palette for 2 months maybe, I'm not sure. But once I hit pan on this highlighter, I will be purchasing a backup in the full size of it because it's perfection in a highlighter. It makes you look like you take all of the vitamins, like you drink all of the water, you get 8 hours of sleep, you exercise regularly, and you eat nothing but, I don't know, kale and whatever the hell else healthy people eat. It just looks like you have the nicest skin out there. So in honor of Cate the Great, I'm going to give a little cheers here to Jouer and say, good job, Citrine. Good job. All right, and with that, I'm going to wrap this video up. Please be sure to go over and check out Cate's video, tell her I said hi, and maybe leave her a wine glass emoji in the comments. And if you are new here from Cate's video, then welcome. I invite you to subscribe. This is about as good as it gets over here on this channel, but we like to keep it real. We like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb, and it's a good time had by all. All right, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.